Hi, everybody. My name is Vance Da Vinci, and I wanted to share with you a series of visions as well as dreams that I've been getting from Spirit that seem to be around. They're very rapture esque, ascension esque, and having to do with the return of Jesus Christ as well as the Christ consciousness energy too. So, the last month and a half, 2 months, I've been getting pretty consistently, a lot of downloads and messages and visions just play out before me like movies, as well as just really vivid and symbolic dreams as well. So I'd like to share with you. I mean, I've got a lot of them. I don't think I'm going to share all of them, but the ones that I feel called to bring forth, I will. um, the first one, I was in a harbor and I was running towards a boat really fast, and so I board the boat, and there's a bunch of people around me on the boat as well that had boarded. And so I decided to take a look back at the harbor, and I see a bunch of people just booking it towards this boat as fast as possible, um, because we were about to take off. And I see these, like you could call them like enemies, they're in dark clothing. They're trying to pick off the people that were trying to make it onto the boat. And and so I saw that most of our friends had made it onto the boat. And I look to my left and I see who I think is the captain, and he takes out this like light beam device, and it looked like a giant lightsaber, like a lightsaber, but like just 5 times bigger. And he takes it out, points it up to the sky, and turns it on to signal our departure. And what and a big golden beam shot out of this device and up to the sky. And I looked up at the sky, and there was a giant blazing phoenix that just totally covered the sky, and it was moving and flapping its wings. And if you know anything about what the phoenix symbolizes, it just symbolizes it's a very explosive energy and archetype around rebirth. And just the golden energy and the symbol of the phoenix, I knew that it was the Christ energy that was that symbolized, and us being beamed down to there via that. And so I remember thinking, like, looking at the sky, and just was in awe of this thing. And it's just really bright. And I was thinking, like, what kind of power source could possibly give off that much light? And in my mind's eye, I saw this blazing golden sun, which is also a symbol of Jesus Christ as well. Um, so that happened, and that signaled our departure. And we were in a boat on the water, but despite that, I got the feeling that we were going in the direction of the beam instead of like horizontally on the water as well. So that's the first one I wanted to share. The next one, I slipped into a light trance state, and this one played out before me. I was up in the sky, and I saw this portal open up, and I saw this golden network or grid of energy, you could call it, that spilled out of this portal and into the sky. And I knew it had to do with Christ consciousness, and the Christ energy coming back. And I had a big golden crown on, and I was told basically that I was one emanation of this grid, and we all are. We all have the inner Christ light inside of us all. Um, but I saw myself with this big crown, and I was told by something on the other side of this portal, spirit, I take it, that it was part of my job right now to tell people that basically the gates have been blown wide open, that the gates to heaven, is just wide open right now, and there's more light and energy and assistance that's available to us now more than ever before. And so to like tell people that that's going on, and to connect with that, and And so yeah, that was a really potent vision as well. Um, let's see what else. I went into meditation, and sometimes I see so much light in my meditation, and I swear I'm outside, like basking in the sunlight, But and so during this one, I saw just a lot of white light coming into my body in my vision, and I see this white robed figure, and he's standing on top of this dome shaped white building, and I hear House of God, House of God. And that was the end of the vision. And then the next, like 2 nights after that, like I thought about that vision again, and I was like wondering, who was that white robed figure that came forth and showed himself to me? And then Jesus came through and basically like nudged me and said, hey, that was me, that way I know it was him. And so that was a big honor to receive that vision, and I've gotten I've had some very clear experiences of like receiving messages and assistance directly from Jesus too. So that was probably one of the most, well, as far as visually speaking, actually really seeing him that way, I'd say that's the definitely the loudest vision I've ever had. Actually seeing him. And then excuse me, I kind of had a brother vision to that vision where I saw this kind of like morphing rainbow energy, and it was in a big ball, and I saw the number 33, and some of you might know that master number also symbolizes the Christ energy as well. And then I heard the same thing, the House of God, House of God. So I got that what Spirit was trying to tell me through that is that the House of God is it's kind of like overlapped onto Earth. It's closer than it has ever been before. And the veil between 3D and the House of God is really thin right now, and it's easier to connect to Spirit. And so yeah, it's really something. I was also shown by one of my inner guides. This one happened like actually a number of months ago, but I felt called to share it. Maybe I'll share this one later. Yeah, I think it's supposed to come later. For now, I'll just share a couple other things, but I had, along with the other visions I shared, I kept hearing like, it's time to go home, time to go home. And so I was being told like, we're really close to whatever 0 point we're spiraling towards, where those of us who have like fulfilled our missions and have our hearts right can actually go home. Actually, also earlier this year, I was getting ready to do a bunch of spiritual work one day, and Jesus came through, and I literally heard him say, I am returning, I am here. So he's here, and it's very powerful, and his as we go through this transition, his presence and power will continue to amplify as well. But it takes work. We can't just simply say, we really simply just can't say, in my personal experience, save me and expect that all the work is done. It does take repenting. It does take the rewiring of your own belief systems, and really changing your heart and changing your mind and pointing it at God, and so you can't just simply forfeit responsibility and just to accept or think you're just going to be accepted that way. And I was in a meditation one day, and I heard very clearly, speaking to what I had just said, the battle of clearing oneself so that transformation and integration may occur. You know, so like, for instance, there's been a lot of talk around, you know, like being, uh, you know, like admittance into heaven, basically, and getting our glorified bodies and our light bodies, you know. So the battle of clearing oneself so that transformation may occur, so that this ascension into, you know, into grace may occur, is, you know, clearing ourselves from, you know, like I said, just belief systems and, you know, traumas and psychic debris, that we, you know, pick up from, that's kind of just hanging in the balance, you know, like as we go about our days, things that might stick to us, you know. It's you know, we can never be done, you know, and even the best of us need, you know, like need to continue clearing ourselves, and you know, staying on the higher path, and, you know, just trying to do the best we can. And you know, I think, you know, and everybody's path is different, you know. Spirit knows everybody's unique heart and path, you know. So I have no idea what you need, you know. Like I'm only shown what I need to know for myself, you know. But I will posit that, you know, like you know, if you really do your, you know, your true inner work, and get your heart, mind, and spirit right, with who you truly are deep down, then whatever transition we're going to go through is going to be a lot smoother for you. Whereas, you know, like let's say, you know, somebody else who didn't do as much of that work, you know, maybe they still made it, but it's going to be a lot more of a rocky transition, and maybe not as pleasant, you know, as they go through this like purging process, you know, and the rewiring of things that in our field, in our own body and mind, soul makeup, that might not be conducive to the higher Christ light that wants to come through. So purging and rewiring belief systems and traumas and stuff like that, so all those knots are out of our being, so the energy can flow through. You know, that's what I'm talking about. So the battle, I've heard very clearly, the battle of clearing oneself so that transformation and integration may occur. And I got another vision of light swirling around my body, like, and it literally said ascension, you know. This light word said ascension, so that was another kind of cool sign. I was given tickets, you know, in a dream, like, hey, you've been admitted, but I also heard at the same time that there are still tests, you know, so we can't just kind of like, you know, just we should enjoy ourselves and relax too, you know, and not crack the whip too hard, but also not just kind of like put our spiritual work on the back burner, you know, because we think we've made it or what have you. Had another vision of a parent teaching a baby how to fly. Like there's this parent behind this baby, and the baby had its arms spread. So that was just kind of showing me maybe the help I've been getting, the help we're all getting if we're open to it. You know, like even the most spiritually evolved on this crazy planet, you know, like really like against you know, our higher guides and angels, we're still like these bumbling, you know, I don't want to say idiots, it's maybe that's not nice, but you know, we're just, you know, like even the best of us are just like really tiny toddlers to, you know, to spirit and to the angels and guides, you know. So, but you know, but we're getting a lot of help. I had another vision where this one had to do with the Bride of Christ ceremony, and I was in some small town. It looked like it was some beautiful town in Switzerland or something, you know, just really heavenly and pure and pristine. mountains in the background, really crisp, fresh air. And so the street was lined with couples. And I was with my friend Kimba, and what we were supposed to do, we were supposed to like dress up in costumes, and like she was supposed to go out into the middle of the street first and meet the guy from the opposite side of the street, and they were supposed to do some like ceremonial gesture thing, and then it was supposed to be my turn to dress up in a costume and do the same thing. So it was very like alchemical, you know, like just the, I guess you could call it the divine feminine and divine masculine intertwinement. But I found myself walking towards the where like the main where the actual bride and groom were going to be married, and this like, you know, big circular kind of cobblestone place where they were being married. And so I actually see them, and then I see my friend Scott, and he's an amazing singer, and he was on this giant float just belting a song out, you know, and he's also very close to Jesus. And so I knew that, you know, it was just kind of another sign that this whole ceremony had to do with the bride of Christ and the divine marriage that's happening right now. Or and the whole like the whole ceremony was kind of shaped like a key, you know, with the whole circular cobblestone where Christ actually was, as well as the rest of the street with all the other couples. So it was kind of like all the other couples that were accompanying or were there for this ceremony were like, you know, like each guy was a best man and each woman was a bridesmaid, you know, and the whole thing was kind of shaped like a key, so it seemed to kind of symbolize, you know, access, you know, into heaven or rapture or something like that. And what else? So yeah, I think I'll share the other dream vision I had. I was in a village, and I went up to this cabin, the corner of this cabin, and I was supposed to rendezvous with this this person. And so I walk up to him, and he kind of looks like a Jedi, you know. He's got this brown robe on, I think, and he's got a salt and pepper beard, just really sharp, like gaze, powerful presence. He had some kind of apprentice with him, but I knew my dealings were only with this other guy. So he looks at me and he's like, "What do you see?" And so I look off in the distance and I see all these dark forces that are gathering, like these shadowy figures, and they're gathering to do something, like start some kind of campaign or war. So I look at him and I'm like, I could tell dark forces are at work. And the rest of our interaction is telepathic from that point. And so he says to me with his mind, basically, "That's right, get ready." And after that, I saw this golden halo flash around his head, and I knew he served the Christ. And I was actually so surprised by just seeing that halo shine around his head that I spoke out with my mouth. Like I wasn't speaking telepathically anymore. I spoke out with my mouth, and I was like, "Oh my God, I saw a golden halo around your head, amazing." And he just kind of looked at me like, "Whatever, it's just how it is here. It's nothing special, you know." And so, you know, because that's who we truly are deep down inside, you know, when you open up to your own Christed nature. There's nothing, it's special to be, you know, one with your own divinity, you know, but it's also just how it is underneath, you know, the illusions and our illusory shortcomings and belief systems that kind of filter out, you know, like who we truly are, and our own divine root, you know. But anyway, he was telling me through this that basically the showdown between the light side and the dark side is right now. And, you know, and it's the tests are here basically. The lines are being drawn. The polarization between the light side and the dark side's happening now, and that like it's really, we don't have much wiggle room right now for mistakes or for being sloppy. And so it's time to be hyper vigilant. It's be aware of all your thoughts, emotions, and actions. Only do and speak out of your highest integrity possible, and try your best. Try to keep your heart open, um, and ask what you're supposed to be doing right now. And just love yourself, one another, and try to keep lifting yourself and others up as well. So the showdown's happening now. The dark side, they've built their forces up, but also we, on the light side, we have armies of guides and angels, and Christ energy and Jesus Christ himself, that's louder and turn up on high more than ever before too. So it's going down. If you have any questions around like spiritual warfare, or how to deal with things like, if you're getting any interference, you can message me and let me know what you're going through, and I can give you some assistance, because I've gone through much of it myself. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and sending you much love. Take care now.